All right, so now I'm standing with,
Carly.
and she's going to give her opinions on the COVID restrictions being lifted, which were lifted on July the 1st.
Hey, I'm Carly. I'm a small business owner, and I think it's great that the restrictions are lifted because the last year and a half was really tough for a lot of business owners. And I think if people are worried or scared, then they can wear their mask or they can do what they feel is comfortable. But I feel like it's good for the rest of us to do what we feel is comfortable, and I'm really happy that I get to open my business fully.
And Carly, do you think it might be too soon given that the stampede is on the horizon? Like, do you think there might be a fourth wave coming up, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think last summer the numbers were pretty low and the numbers only rose later into the fall. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty safe summer. And if anyone's worried about it, they don't have to go to the Stampede. But yeah, I don't think it's too soon.
All right, thanks, Carly, for your time.
Yes, I'm happy that they're being lifted, but I rather would have waited until everyone got their second shot before lifting the restrictions.
And do you fear that there might be a fourth wave coming around after the stampede? Like, what's your opinion on that?
A little bit, yes. I do realize that some people are not getting their vaccine. There are a lot of more anti-maskers than I realized. People who don't even believe this is real or believe in it but know everything. And I do think that there are some people who are going to continue to spread the virus. Not everyone has their shots, and some people only have one shot. And even people who are fully vaccinated might get the virus still. So I think that's still a possibility, considering, like I mentioned, the amount of anti-maskers or COVID deniers that exist in Alberta and everywhere, but I do think, like, especially in Alberta.
All right, thanks for sharing your opinions. All right, so I'm standing with,
Brooklyn Mulholland.
and she's going to give me her opinion on the COVID restrictions being lifted as of July the 1st in Alberta.
I think it was long past due because, first of all, I hate wearing masks, and I still don't like how we have to in Calgary some places. And yeah.
And do you think it's a little too soon given that the stampede is coming up pretty soon? Like, do you think there might be a fourth wave going on, or like, what are your opinions on that?
No, I think the Stampede is a lot of what people need right now. But yeah, I don't think there'll be a fourth wave, but I don't know.
All right, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I just think it's great. It's finally time to get the restrictions out of here. People have their vaccinations, and I think it's great. I think it's going to be good for the community, and it'll be good for everyone else.
Now, do you think it might be a little too soon given that the stampede is coming up and it could cause a fourth wave possibly, or?
I have talked about that with a few of my friends. A lot of us actually think that they are only opening the restrictions because of Stampede, and they'll be closing it again as soon as Stampede ends.
All right, thanks for your time.
Well, I think it's actually really good that we're lifting the restrictions because we've been locked down for so long that we're all just kind of being amped up and being stuck in places that we can't see our families and doing business and all that kind of stuff. Releasing the restrictions is a good thing, but I don't know if it's going to stop the transmission of this virus per se, but I definitely think it's going to relax people's angst about the restrictions because people are starting to get heated up. And as you can see, we're down on 17th Avenue. Look at this. You got to just spin around. That's fucking wicked, man. We haven't seen that in 18 months. Pedal pubs, man. Those are wicked. Those are wicked. That's Canada Day, man. But definitely, I think we still need to practice like safe social distancing in areas where we need to. I'm a dead set on getting rid of the masks. I'm tired of them just because I don't like wearing them. I hate them. But I think they actually do a little bit because nobody's had a cold or a flu. So they must do something, right? So I don't know. But
All right, guys, so just getting some more opinions on the COVID restrictions being lifted.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, life goes on. Let's move on, Canada.
All right, awesome.
I think it's really interesting that they're being lifted right before Stampede. I think that there's definitely a financial reason to them being lifted and a political reason to them being lifted. Personally, super happy that they're being lifted so I can go out and meet people and go out with my friends, 100%. So personally very happy, but I think that there is an underlying political reason, 110%.
And that brings me to my next question, actually. So, a lot of people think that this is being done because the Stampede is coming up. So, of course, there's financial reasons behind this. So, do you guys think that there might be a fourth wave happening once the Stampede takes place, like after the Stampede?
100%. I think it's going to lock down again 6 to 8 months after. Look out, life's changing. Like, Canada isn't Canada. Look out the next 10 years. Our rights are right out the window. We don't have rights. We won't. We won't.
No, I think a fourth wave is unavoidable, even with vaccines. I think that we don't know enough about the virus. I think that we're vaccinated now, so to speak, but I don't think that we're completely protected 110%.
All right, guys, thanks for sharing your opinions. All right, guys, so right now I'm with,
Maddie.
I'm Adam.
and they're going to give me their opinions on the COVID restrictions being lifted in Alberta as of July the 1st. So, handing it over to them.
I think that it was the right decision, and enough people are vaccinated that I think we can handle it. And the people who aren't vaccinated, that's natural selection, so they deserve to get COVID.
Yeah, I kind of basically what she said, yeah. I agree with it, yeah.
All right, and so as we all know, the Stampede is coming up next week, but do you guys fear that there might be a possible fourth wave happening after the Stampede is done?
Well, yes, except 70% is vaccinated, so hopefully that can help flatten the curve. If we weren't vaccinated, I would say, yeah, that'd be a second spike or fourth spike, but I think it's okay with the vaccinations.
Yeah, I would say at this point, everyone was eligible to get a vaccine, so yeah, I think at this point it's up to the people, because if they wanted the vaccine, they could have got it. So if there is another fourth wave, it's kind of our fault, not the government. So.
All right, guys, thanks for sharing your opinions. All right, guys, so right now I'm with
Julie.
and she's going to give me her opinions on the COVID restrictions being lifted as of July the 1st in Alberta. So handing it over to Julie.
All right, so we're here on 17th Avenue, and there's actually a reason I'm on this side type thing, just doing some people watching. Honestly, I'm not very comfortable with the COVID-19 restrictions being lifted. I think the biggest problem with it is that it puts the upholding of different rules in the hands of frontline workers, and by that I mean like waitresses, grocery store workers, bartenders, all of those things, to be like, hey, put on a mask, or like you can't do that type of thing here. And they're relying it up to like store policy or restaurant policy, and I think that's just super unsafe, and it just puts them at more risk, because you just have assholes coming up to them being like, well, like the government restrictions are lifted so I can do whatever I want, and it doesn't matter. So I feel like with the restrictions being lifted at this point, it's just validating all of the assholes who were like against it the whole time. And now at least they have like the government backing them up and being like, well, actually I'm right now and I don't have to do all of these things to keep other people safe. And I'm a vaccinator for Alberta Health Services, and I just like don't think our vaccination rates are at the certain point where it's safe necessarily. And also like the people who are going to be taking advantage of the restrictions being lifted, holding like big events, being really close to each other and taking these risks, for the most part, like a lot of them aren't vaccinated. They aren't, and it's really scary with the variants out there and everything, and I just don't think we're at a point of public trust and community to safely open up. Like, we just don't have enough relationship to one another as a community to look out for one another and look out for like a stranger's health. Like, nobody here gives a shit, and it doesn't look any different to me out here than it did in April when like patios were still open. Honestly, it's just like, it's kind of disheartening, and it sucks because like I've known people who've gotten really, really sick, and it's really hard to see. I think yeah. But then you also have people who are super tired of it. Like, you have people who turned 18 in this pandemic and are like, fuck it, I just want to go party. And I get it. I know if I was that age right now, like, I definitely want to be like, you know what, I don't care, I'm young, I'm going to go do these things, but I just don't think we have enough collective consciousness and connection to one another to consciously make decisions that's going to look out for one another's health. So it's just like, it's disappointing. It sucks. But there are upsides, like I think allowing for more space for people to connect. We can't rely on the internet. So sorry, thank you. We can't rely on the internet for all of our ways of community connection. So allowing for larger public spaces and more people to get together, I think is a really good thing. So I guess that's my opinion on it. I don't know.
And so that brings me to my other question. Of course, the Stampede is going to be next week, so it might seem a little too soon to some people to be reopening things and, the possibility of a fourth wave happening after the Stampede. So what are your opinions on that?
Oh, I think it's like the most Calgary thing ever. I think that it is like very much so the most Calgary thing to do. All of this has been done, like this July 1st has been done for Stampede, which is just super unfortunate because it shows that Stampede is kind of just like this one big party as opposed to a real spirit of Calgary, what it could be. I mean, I'm not like the hugest fan of Stampede, but I can see the appeal. Like I have family who loves it and friends who love it, but it shows that like all Stampede is just like getting drunk and partying and taking advantage of public spaces and acting unsafely. And I just don't think that's the name that we want for our city and what we want for a Stampede carrying forward. I think it's disappointing. And we can have things, we could have a rodeo, you could air that, like you can have different kinds of events. You could even try for like, I don't know, delivery pancake breakfast for like our like houseless population would be super cool. Like you could have something that's like an authentic Calgary Stampede community experience, but this isn't it. It's not it.
All right, thanks for sharing your opinions.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we're with Kieran, and he's going to give us his opinions on the COVID restrictions being lifted.
Well, I personally think it's a pretty good thing. I think the main challenge is going to come from the different levels of government. We got the city restrictions, and we got the provinces restrictions, which have been lifted, and then we got federal government restrictions. So I think it's going to be difficult to navigate as this stuff changes, but I think it's a good thing overall.
All right, and do you feel like it was too soon, too late, or is this the perfect timing to lift the restrictions?
I think it's a good time. I mean, there's not really a good time or a bad time. I think it's just they decided to do it today, and that's what happened.
All right, guys, we're with Jenna, who's going to share her opinion on the COVID restrictions being lifted as of July the 1st.
Personally, I think that it might be a little too soon, just being on Canada Day and a lot of people being around, out and about. Might just, I don't know, too many people close together celebrating. People might get, huggy and feely and stuff like that. But all in all, I think it's kind of time to move forward. But maybe not Canada Day. Maybe we should have waited until a slower weekend.
And do you think things will really pick up during the Stampede in terms of like a fourth wave or anything like that?
It's hard to say. Like I don't know how many people have been vaccinated in Calgary. But people come all around from Alberta, I'm sure from other provinces, to come to the Stampede, so this is going to be open. And who knows? It's hard to say. People are going to be close together, and it could be a fourth wave for sure.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Jenna, for sharing your opinion.
No problem.
I just didn't feel like it was an appropriate time to celebrate. And I didn't want to get sick. I didn't want to go and accidentally catch something and, potentially get somebody else sick either. So.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next question. So, as you may know, the cases of the Delta variant are rising quite a bit in Alberta. So do you think it's a little bit too soon that they're rapidly opening things up in Alberta, like at this quick pace that they are?
Yes, I do actually. I think that the slower we go and the more cautious that we are, we can just nip it in the bud, and then closer we can get to going back to normal if they just were to follow some really strict protocols.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing your opinion.
No problem.
All right, right now I'm standing with
Paul.
So Paul, the first question I have to ask you is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
No, I didn't. I decided to stay home this year and listen from a distance. I'll probably go next year, though.
All right, so was your decision influenced by COVID-19? Is that the reason you didn't go to the Stampede, or?
I think that was one of the factors, but I just felt to be safe and to just avoid the crowds this year, I felt it would be wise not to go, but that wasn't the entire reason. I just wanted to take a year off.
All right, fair enough. And as you may know, the Delta cases are rising right now in Alberta. So do you have any sort of opinions on the how everything has been reopening at such a sudden rate, or any opinions regarding that?
Well, as far as that's concerned, I was a bit surprised that they were opening so soon, and I can only hope for the sake of us all that it turns out that everything is safe and that this Delta variant does not spread and become dominant, and that it's kept under control.
All right, indeed. Thanks for sharing your opinions, Paul. Appreciate your time.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So right now I'm standing with,
My name is Kevin Caparis.
and he's going to give me his opinions regarding COVID-19. So take it. The floor is yours.
Well, as a Calgarian, as someone who's lived in Canada all my life, in this city, it's no different than anybody else in the world. COVID has turned our lives upside down, just like anybody else. We all have to stand in lines. We all have to answer stupid questions that we've heard 1,000 times. But it is what it is. And worldwide, and God help us all, we all have to stand in these lines. I'm sorry, I am a little drunk. Did I mention that post-script?
Yeah, it's all good. Just another question I have for you. So did you go to the Stampede?
No.
All right. And what was your reason behind that? Was it anything COVID related, or you just didn't?
COVID related? No. $12 for a bottle of water related? Absolutely. And I love Calgary, but if you come, bring your visa.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for your opinion. All right, so right now I'm standing with
Iman.
and she's going to give me her opinions on COVID-19. So my first question for you is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
I did. Not. Well, I went to National North, if that counts, but
Okay.
we'll say yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And did you have any sort of reservations about going to the Stampede in terms of the COVID cases or anything like that? Or
Not really. Honestly, seeing it go down kind of made me feel better, and the fact that I'm double vaxxed and I have been for a while, and like I've been watching what's going on. It was a risk, of course, but I was willing to take it. Yeah.
All right. The Delta variant cases have been rising in Alberta. So in your opinion, have things opened up too quickly, or is this the right time?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of being a hypocrite because I'm going out, but I think it's a little quick. Yeah, especially with August long coming up. Like, I think after July long, we saw a big surge too. Hopefully the same doesn't happen with August long, but we'll see.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your opinions. All right. So right now I'm standing with
Aman.
and he's going to give me his opinions related to COVID-19. So my first question is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
Actually, no, I was working.
Okay. So your reason for not going, was it somewhat related to COVID-19 or?
Actually, no. Work was busy, so I didn't get a chance to go there, but I wanted to.
Okay. And my other question is, so as you may know, the cases of the Delta variant have been rising a lot in Alberta.
Okay.
So in your opinion, do you think things have opened a little bit too quickly, or do you think this is the right pace, or what are your opinions on that?
Yeah, I think things have got back to normal somehow, but yeah, I think it's okay for me to open the way they're opening it, so I'm cool with that.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing your opinions.
Okay.
All right, so right now I'm standing with
Samantha.
and she's going to give me her opinions on COVID-19. So Samantha, my first question is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
Yeah, I did. It was lots of fun.
All right.
It was a good time, yeah.
All right. Did you feel like it might be a little unsafe given the Delta variant or anything like that, or you were?
No, I haven't felt unsafe the whole year. I don't know. I just live my life.
Yeah, awesome. And my other question is, so as you may know, the cases of Delta variant have been rising in Alberta. So do you think things have opened a little bit too quickly in Alberta, or do you think this is a good time to open things up?
No, things need to open up. We need to get back to normal life. It's awesome. If you're scared, get the shot. You know?
And speaking of which, have you gotten your shots of?
No, hell no.
Okay.
No.
All right, Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your opinions.
Thanks.
All right, so right now I'm standing with
Okis.
and he's going to give me his opinions related to COVID-19. So my first question for you is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
I did.
All right, and so did you have any sort of fear going into the Stampede, or like related to COVID-19 or the Delta variant or anything like that?
I had a feeling that there could be the possibility of it spreading, but like, I don't know. It's just been a long time since we've been in isolation, you know, so I thought it'd be finally time to get out there, despite the circumstance.
So as you may know, the Delta variant has seen rising cases in Alberta.
With the recent news, with the masking and the isolation dropping, I think the restrictions are dropping a little too quickly right now. And like, I know everybody is concerned about their safety, so I think that keeping a standard that applies to everyone as best as you can is important. And like, what's wrong with keeping some of the restrictions lifted or some of the restrictions in place for a little bit longer, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so my opinion related to COVID is, how fucking fair is it to bring phase 3 about the city, yet having to have restrictions on transit? And even though you're a customer going to a restaurant, whatever, and you don't have to wear a mask, I understand that with COVID, the mask doesn't prevent you from getting it, it only prevents you from spreading it. So why the fuck would you be working and wearing a mask that isn't needed, and you're breathing a lot of heavy, carbon dioxide? So, like, what's the point of it? We're not sick with COVID, and we have to wear these masks and these restrictions at work for all these corporations that don't give a fuck about us. So, yeah, it's just really discouraging, and we're expected to be told to do these things. Meanwhile, our leaders and politicians, they don't abide by any of the rules whatsoever, but we're kind of under their thumb. So that's my opinion on it.
All right, thank you for sharing your opinions.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so right now I'm with
Kennel.
First of all, did you go to the Stampede?
No, I didn't go this year.
All right, and what was your reason for not going to the Stampede this year?
Well, just because I wanted to stay protected. Like, I don't have my second dose yet, so just kind of waiting until that time passed. Also, I work in like the healthcare field, so I just wanted to protect my clients just until the time is right. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm standing with
Katarina.
Gabriel.
And they're going to give me their opinions on COVID-19. So my first question for you guys is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
Fuck the Stampede.
Yes, I did.
You did? With who? I didn't know he went to Stampede. He's cheating on me.
Oh,
He's cheating on me with the horse at the Stampede. Oh my God!
I love the Stampede.
Did you go to the Stampede this year?
No.
Right, and was your decision influenced by COVID-19 in any way? Like, is that the reason why you didn't go, or?
Yes, because we're local and we don't want to see us shut down again.
Yeah, I don't want to lock down.
Sorry?
Awful.
Hey, let's go. Okay, so
I hope this isn't ITV.
Trump's coming back. We're gonna make America.
As you guys know, the cases of the Delta variant have been rising in Alberta. Has everything opened up too quickly, or do you guys think this is a good pace?
I'm glad everything's opened up, but I don't want to see it close again.
I'm very happy with the opening up, and hopefully it stays open.
Is that what I said?
Exactly what she said.
Thank you.
Right, thanks, guys,
Take
for
a bow.
sharing.
Paul, take a bow. Take a curtsy.
Bravo,
Thank you.
bravo.
I mean, Gabriel, take a bow.
All right, guys, I'm standing with,
Xavier.
and he's going to give me his opinions on COVID-19. So,
First of all, that's bullshit. Okay? Listen, fuck COVID. Take your trenches and go out there. How the fuck are you gonna impose a mandatory quarantine, lockdown? You know? How? Population control, right there. But that's my opinion, yeah? You feel me? And the CEO of fucking the guy that made the vaccine didn't even take his shot. You know? Does that make any sense? To me, I don't think so. There's a, you know, we all fucking experiment. Experiment. You know what I mean? People are dying from getting the shot after. Like blood clot, all that bullshit, right? But at the same time, I kind of see why people would go like, they go toward that, you know, because restriction, like if you want to travel, you gotta have it. You know, next thing you know, if you have kids, they gonna go to school, they have to take it. That's bullshit, you know? So freedom, liberty. Freedom of speech, thank you.
all right, so right now I'm standing with,
Jen.
and she's going to give me her opinions on COVID-19. So my first question for you is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
I did, yes.
All right. And did you have any sort of reservations about going to the Stampede in terms of COVID cases or anything like that, or?
No, not at all.
Okay. And my other question for you is that, as you may know, the Delta variant has been seeing a lot of rising cases in Alberta. So in your opinion, is this too early to open everything up as how, like, the way that things have been recently, or do you think they should have taken a little slower approach in terms of opening things up?
In my personal opinion, so to be completely 1000% honest with you, the first week where we got rid of the masks, I contracted COVID-19 and it was a Delta variant. I just got back into public on Tuesday, so I'm not contagious or anything, but I was been down and out for about 2.5 weeks, give or take, and it's been the worst time of my life. I personally am not vaccinated because my immune system, I'm compromised, so I can't get the vaccine just yet. So I was relying on everyone else to have the, the conscious effort to not get me sick, and living through it, it has been terrible. So when I heard the news they're going to reopen everything on the 16th of August, I was completely blown away by how irresponsible the government is taking everything and telling us to stay home for a year and a half, and all of a sudden, nope, just kidding, screw it. And since I'm one of the phase oneers, reopening first and getting closed down first, it kind of screws over my business more than anyone, not than anyone else's, but I get impacted the most. And I think it's not a good time to throw caution to the wind and reopen for, I don't know, monetary gain.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me asking, what was the business that was affected of yours during COVID-19?
I'm a barber culture.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. That must have taken quite a hit. And so you said that you have to wait to get the vaccine due to some...
Yeah, I have to wait because my immune system isn't strong enough to fully support it. And with all of my other allergies as well, it's just not safe for me to get it done at this time and place and this moment, yeah.
And also quite shocking that they're saying that we don't have to isolate anymore. Even if someone gets COVID-19, they no longer have to isolate. So in your opinion, what are your opinions on that?
I think that is absolutely outrageous. But I mean, if you can contract COVID-19, the Delta variant, and go to work as a regular, normal human, God bless and good for you, because I could barely walk the first 4 days. I still have my oxygen levels 85 out of 100. 96 and below is dangerous. So I'm still in the really hardcore recovery stage of it. And it is it a flu? Yes. Is it worse for some people than others? Absolutely. And I got it very badly. And I think that it's super irresponsible for everyone who could get it to be in public and spread it to other people who can't get vaccinated, myself included, or grandma and grandpas, or kids under the age of 12, or people who just are more susceptible to getting sick more often.
Yeah, and so were you hospitalized during this experience, or
I refuse to. Yeah, I have my doctor calling me every single day. She's still calling me every day. I have people come by and assess me at my apartment because I live alone, and which was really, really kind and great of them, but there's nothing they can do or give you or change for you other than giving you oxygen. You know what I mean? You just have to live it through and hope for the best, really.
Yeah. Must have been a tough experience, but thank you for sharing your opinions. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm standing with
Sumit.
And he's going to give me his opinions on COVID-19. So my first question is, did you go to the Stampede this year?
Actually, I really wanted to go there, in the Stampede, but I didn't have any time to go. But all of my friends went there, so yeah. But I think it was pretty ridiculous. I have been listening to people. They are saying they are pretty afraid of COVID, but then they are also going to Stampede. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any sense. But COVID doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. I don't believe in COVID, man.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yeah. So you weren't afraid of any COVID cases or the Delta variant that is going on right now? Nothing like that?
No, bro, I'm not afraid of anything. Until and unless my immune is good, I'm doing perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion.
No problem.
Yeah. All right, guys, and Sumit here is going to tell me about his song. He's going to tell our viewers about his song, so handing it over to him.
So, I just recently released my new song on YouTube on the official page of Bum Tape Records. The name is One Desire. I hope if you guys can check it out and drop in the comment sections how you guys like it, that would be really good. And I have many more songs coming up in the the next months, so stay tuned. Thanks. ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਸ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਬੈਕ ਗਾਣੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਵੀਰ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਚੈਨਲ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ। ਵੀਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੈ?
ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਬੋਬੀ।
ਸੋ ਸੰਨੀ ਦਿਓਲ ਦੇ ਭਰਾ ਬੋਬੀ ਦਿਓਲ ਤੇ ਕਰੋ ਵੀਰ ਦਾ ਚੈਨਲ ਵੀ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਬੰਬ ਟੇਪ ਰੈਕਡਸ ਕਰੋ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਮੇਰਾ ਭਰਾ। ਕੀਪ ਸ਼ੇਅਰਿੰਗ, ਕੀਪ ਸਪੋਰਟਿੰਗ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
ਓਕੇ, ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ।